my fight fans? So Dana White has come out and said that fighters are getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid. That's no surprise to us. You know, that's no surprise to us. We have heard this for quite some time. We have heard him say multiple times that he's not going to raise the fighting pay. You know, this has been a dispute between fighters within the organization that used to be in the organization. We have different podcasts, different news outlets, so many different people talking about this. You know, this is something that's been going on since, I believe, Tito Ortiz, before he fought Chuck Liddell the first time. That's as far as I remember it, you know. And what do we think about this? We definitely do not agree 100%. I don't agree with it 100% because fighters are not getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid. As far as I know, as far as I am coming to terms with, you know what? Let's back up for a second. In this interview, or in this question that he answered, because I believe this all came out in a GQ interview that he was doing. And in this interview, he mentioned, or was answering questions for the fans stating about fighter pay. And that in this statement, he also referred to boxing, saying that boxing pretty much ruined the sport with its pay. I disagree. Boxing has ruined its own sport throughout time due to greed, yes. Due to corruption, yes. Due to multiple different promoters. You know, we could go and we could talk all day about the issues that we have with boxing. But as far as pay goes, I don't agree that being one of them. You know, boxers are definitely making the money they should be making because they are putting their life on the line. You know, how many boxers have we seen die, you know, sacrificing themselves? And imagine a boxer pretty much sacrificed himself and did everything that he could do in the ring and passed away, unfortunately, because it does happen. And they are making what the UFC fighters make. So no, 100% fighters, the UFC fighters are not making what they should be making. Boxers are making what they're supposed to be making. That's just my humble opinion. That is seriously my humble opinion. No. Because at the end of the day, that's basically what I see the UFC. UFC is a business, obviously. You got Dana White and his team setting up the pay-per-view, setting up the fights, setting up getting the team together, getting the broadcast together, getting the stadium together, pretty much putting on the lights, everything, getting everything ready, getting the show put on. That's their 50% of doing what they need to do. The other 50% is the fighters. Because Dana White could do everything. He could get the cage ready. He could get the stadium ready. He could get the broadcast team ready. He could get everything ready to be put on TV for pay-per-views. He could get it all ready. Finally, got the crowd in. You got your team members going. You got everybody ready. The announcers. But no fighters. What then? What then? Again, I ask you, what then? I'm hearing they get paid 20%. That is not enough. That is not enough. I get it. It's a lot of work. I get it. You are trying your best to put on the best show for the fans. But again, it is not 100%. It is not 80% of what you are doing. It's like, imagine a movie producer for Pirates of the Caribbean got the set together, got everything going, the crew together, got the stage ready, got everything that it needed for the movie, but no actors. No actors. There is no movie. None. The producer could do everything it needs to do. The executive producer could put out the money and get it all taken care of and do whatever and pay whatever it needs to happen. Fine, cool. You paid all the money for the set. You paid all the money for the studio. You paid all this money for all this time, but you got no actors. Do you got a movie? No, you do not. Dana White, his team, no fighters, no money. Meaning no show. Audience is going to leave. They're going to wait. What are we doing here? What are we waiting for? There is no show. Just because they build the cage, just because they build the stadium, just because they build the stage to where they can put it on the big screen, to where they can put it on television, to where they can put it on pay-per-view. No, at the end of the day, no fighters, no show, no business. That's it. It's a 50% business. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much you do. Dana White literally is the only promoter that I can see that is richer than every single fighter. It's like a producer being richer than Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt or George Clooney. It's like you got the owner of the NFL being richer than any football player that's ever existed. It does not make sense. You don't see the NFL players doing that. The NBA players doing that. The MLB players doing it. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. These guys are putting their bodies on the line. 100% putting their bodies on the line. Putting their health on the line. Taking time out of their lives to fulfill the business that you are building. Imagine if Dana White, he talks about some of his fights, but imagine he had nothing but fights like that Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. We remember that. It wasn't the greatest. Anderson Silva versus I'm drawing a blank on his name. You got Anderson Silva and some of his other fights that he's had with like Travis Lutter or Damian Myers, the one I was wanting to bring up. Again, not the greatest fights. You give the stage to these fighters to give you a show. And what these fighters do, like the fighter, he just retired. Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald just retired. We all remember that fight, part 2. Good God, what a great fight. We remember Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. We remember both of them, part 1 and part 2. We remember the Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos. Yeah, you gave us the stage, but the fighters is the reason why we come. The fans do not come to the stadium to say, hey, they got a nice stadium. Or, hey, UFC really decorated this place super awesome. I bought a ticket because I got to see this whole setup really nice. This is what I bought a ticket for. This is the reason why I paid thousands of dollars. This is the reason why I bought the pay-per-view. So I could see the nice stadium. So I could see the nice broadcasting team. So I could see all these nice lights and everything like that. That's the reason why I bought the ticket. No, that is not the reason why we bought the ticket. The reason why we bought the ticket, the reason why we bought the pay-per-view, the reason why we are tuning in to watch your show is to watch the fighters. That is the main reason. And the main reason is somehow, some way, Dana White thinks that it is okay to pay the fighters what they are getting paid. And it is not. It is not. At the end of the day, we've seen boxers who continue to box. They wait, whatever they do with their money, that's their business. We all hear the stories about Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. We hear these stories about what other people do with their money. At the end of the day, it don't matter who you are. Entertainer, a fighter, football player, basketball, don't matter. Whatever you choose to do with your money, your business. But you should still be getting paid what you do. And again, I brought this up in a recent video. There is literally nobody getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid, including Conor McGregor, honestly. If you ask me, no way. Conor McGregor should not be even making nowhere near the amount of money. He should be making much more because he is that big of a star. Same thing with Nate Diaz. Same thing with Masvidal. Same thing with a lot of these other fighters who put so much time and so much energy. By the time they make that decent amount of money, their career is already almost over. That is it. Like literally, you got maybe a couple years left. All those years of fighting, nonstop, constantly fighting. And you're finally towards the end of your career, and now you can make some decent money because they decided, hey, you know what? You are a big enough star. No. Do I agree that some fighters should be getting paid more because they are bigger stars? Of course. Not everybody can get paid the same. That's the end of the day. That's your job. That's the fighter's job. The fighter's job is the ones that should be putting on the show. You can't go out there and have slow, steady performances. You can't go out there and try your best to just play it safe, to be boring, to do everything you can not to lose, but just to barely win and expect to get paid this millions and millions and millions and crazy millions of dollars. No, it don't work that way. You got to give us a show. You got to give us a reason why we want to watch you. Why next time we hear you are fighting, I want to buy that pay-per-view, because every time you fight, it's a damn show. When Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz fight, we're like, I'm tuning in, because I know damn it's going to be a show. Conor McGregor, oh yeah, 100%. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, Jorge Masvidal, even Khamzat Chimaev, I'm buying it, or I'm going to buy a ticket because I know it's going to be a show. That's why you get paid those big bucks. But if you want to fight and stay slow and do whatever you can to be safe because you're too afraid to lose, or you're too afraid to get knocked out, don't want to take chances, then yeah, you're not going to get paid as much as those guys. That I 100% do agree. That 100% is what's supposed to happen. But what's not supposed to happen is these fighters not getting paid what they should be getting paid, because again, they're the ones that put it on their body on the line. What is the UFC staff putting on their stuff on the line? What, stress? Maybe loss of hair? Maybe a little anxiety? Maybe an ulcer because of all the stress that they got to do? That's it. Sleepless nights? They're not getting hit in the cage. Yeah, it's frustrating. It is very, very frustrating to put on a show together. I can definitely imagine that. 100%. No doubt. No one is saying that the UFC should not be getting paid what they're getting paid, because they definitely put on a very great show. They put on a very entertaining show. Very professional. Very, just every time you get a pay-per-view, every time you see the fight nights, you know, you're just always tuning into something great. And that's because of the great team UFC has. That's the great job Dana White has done throughout the years. We've seen the UFC grow throughout the years. And of course, Dana White is the general. He is the leader. He's the one that has brought everything to us. But not just him. It took a team of his soldiers to get there as well. When a general leads, he doesn't just go by himself. He leads an army. And that general and that army take over whatever needs to take over, and they make things much more better wherever they're going. And that's what Dana White is. He's the general. His fighters is his army, and they continue to knock it out and make what they are building and what they are doing that much better. But he could not do it alone. The fighters cannot do it without Dana, and Dana cannot do it without the fighters. I don't care who you are. I do not care what skills Dana has, or what he's done in the past, or what it is. At the end of the day, Dana needs the fighters, and the fighters need Dana. That sounds like a 50-50 split to me. So I really hope one day he does reconsider. I really hope one day he decides to give the fighters what they should be getting. Because again, you're not as rich as you are. You're not as powerful you are. You're not as big as you are without the fighters. Without the fighters. And they do not deserve their 20% or whatever they are getting. They deserve much more than that. If you guys agree, let me know. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.